All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Community Night. I wanted to do a recording for this, so hopefully I can get my thoughts out as constructively as possible. And if you notice, as a little preview, I'm wearing our new shirt. So as we get further towards the end, I'm going to reveal our 2025 shirts for Gratitude Foundation. I'm very excited about our new night. So hello and welcome. Throughout this presentation, you guys are going to see a lot of photographs of our community. That includes people that are in recovery and people that are just in and around our community and supporters. The uh, the idea for tonight is really for me to help garner support. I need a lot of help, and it takes some humility and some growth for me to be able to ask for that. As you know, the years have gone by. I've built a lot of successful businesses on my own. I'm lucky now to be a part of a team, and the truth is, we're expecting. My wife and I are expecting a baby next year, and I don't want what we've done with Gratitude Foundation to slow down just because I need to slow down. So tonight, this is what we're looking to do. We're going to give some background on how we got here, where we are now, the projected long-term goals. Right, I want to explain the dream of Gratitude Foundation and where we're headed. And I know that we will get there. So my hope is that you'll get there with us. That you'll help build this strong foundation with us. We'll also be celebrating our alumni tonight, discussing open positions, and then opening up to chat if anybody has any initial thoughts. I'm happy to talk with you. And then later tonight, I'm going to put up my phone number, and I'm going to ask for anyone who's interested in joining one of those positions to text me which of the subcommittees that you're interested in joining. Not a lot of time, right? Like basically, we're talking about maybe 2 hours a month that I'm looking for extra help, and that'll go a long way. So basically, Gratitude Foundation is a board. I'm the president. Petros is the co-founder and co-president. We have Jack, Christina, and a couple of people on our board. If you jump to gratitudefoundation.com, you can see the current board lineup. Bill is our house manager. Matt is a house manager. I'm very grateful to have this team. We have 3 houses in 3 counties, and it's a big lift to run all these things. So, special thank you to everyone here that's on the team, including Donna, who's our new bookkeeper. We definitely appreciate it and could not do this without you guys. So let's go into our background. So actually, I should mention, including Christina and Jack, we have 50 years of collective experience in our recovery housing. And we need your help to go even further. So I'm going to run through and kind of lay out how we got here. So 2013, I moved into the Donnelly House. Donnelly House is Mike and Joni Elder, and they started the Donnelly House a lot longer before anybody else was thinking about recovery housing. When I first moved into Donnelly, I was coming right out of rehab, and my thought was, a lot of people still call them halfway houses, and my thought was I was moving into a place that would be, a constant threat on my life because I would be, in with a bunch of people from jail, and there's that stigma is still around. And I think that's important to mention that there is a stigma on recovery housing that we're helping to break. So the Donnelly House was where I cut my teeth and, started to learn to live. That one picture that you see at the bottom there is also my very first regular event, Thrifty Golfers. When I was just 90 days clean, I got a group of people together to create this event called Thrifty Golfers that we still do to this day. Very very fun. Love to have fun. 2016, I bought a house on Jacob's Ladder. That house is still around. It's currently a women and children's house for Oxford. It's an Oxford house that rents it from me. Um, I don't have a lot to do with the oversight there, but really that community took a long time to get solidified and get off the ground. But back in 2016, it was me and a couple of guys. That's where I got the nickname Uncle Marty. You can see Petros there wearing his Amish hat. Yeah, maybe we were a little sillier back then. Of course, Mr. E is there. That's the cat that you see. Mr. E's a great story. I won't go too far into right now, but he came with the house. He was my recovery cat, and Manny's there too. We had a lot of get-togethers at that house, and for me, that was a big part of getting out of my comfort zone. Even though I'm a very introverted person, it helped me to explore social interactions and get used to being around people. And one of the things that I always really remember as profound was just being able to stay on the couch in the living room no matter what I was feeling or what was going on, and being there with Petrus and being able to express my feelings and what was happening helped me grow into who I am today. So 2017, I bought a second house, and made it a recovery house. I would go over and do the meetings. Home House is still around today. It's not under the Gratitude Foundation umbrella just yet, but that is a goal for 2025. We should be able to make that move. Ohm House, I actually lived in Ohm House for quite a few years myself as well later on. And, it's a really great place for long-term recovery. We've got guys there with 14 years clean, 5 and 6 years clean. We've had a number of really great people that have gone through, and it's very stable, long-term clean time. Not a lot of oversight, but it does its job. It allows for safe, supportive housing. I used to do the house meetings, and I would make dinner every house meeting, and I bring it over myself. And as I'm working nonstop, I was exhausted, and I kept trying, just like, hey, does anybody else want to make dinner? Does anybody else want to make dinner? And one guy finally said, well, I don't know how to make dinner, but I know how to make breakfast. And I was like, great, we're having breakfast next week. And that's something that's really still caught on. We still do that regularly. Eat and make food for one another together. 2018, I was blessed to get further involved with Bill, and Bill opened the Tradition House. We put a lot of work. It would take a whole separate meeting just to talk about all the work that it took to get Tradition House up and running. And just put on some things on here with our old flyer. And when your sponsor asks you if everything is okay, and you're underwater, and that was me basically in 2018. Just figuring it out, making it happen. And we love you, Bill. We're going to hear from Bill a little bit later on. Bill is going to speak as well. 2019, Petros opens Hub City. Hub City Recovery Living was a duplex, another house on Bower, which is now part of Gratitude Foundation. It was also a women's house, which, unfortunately, we did have to close due to problems with the house itself and the landlords there, as well as just the struggles with women housing. We talk about it. We would like to do women's housing in the future, but it's really difficult, at least for me, to be able to step in and help if we don't have a really strong house manager, which was part of what we had initially, and then she stepped down. So, but in 2019, Petros opened his housing with Hub City, and somewhere shortly thereafter, we started talking about legacy and wanting to do more for the recovery community, and wanting to build something that would last even beyond us. And that's where Petros and I co-founded the Gratitude Foundation. And in 2020, we got our official 501c3 IRS filing. Took a lot to figure out the ins and outs of how an IRS 501c3 works, and it's a long process to get your paperwork approved. And obviously, COVID was taking place around that same time, so we adapted, we made some changes, and we I'm proud to say we made it, right. Here we are 4 years later. So where are we now? We're constantly building community, and that's part of what I'm most proud of, is that we're able to not just provide housing and high quality housing, but we're able to actually create communities that are supportive within themselves. And the men that live in our housing, are a band of brothers. They fulfill the vision of safe, supportive 12-step communities. So, we've stood the test of time. We're stronger now than we've ever been. We're looking forward to the future, and we got there um, together. So Gratitude Foundation currently is in 3 counties. So we have the Allegheny County Cumberland House, which is the Harvest House. We actually were doing shared beds there initially when we opened. It was a parole and probation house mainly, and we were able to stabilize and get a really good group of healthy men. Hopefully, they're on here tonight, and we even have Raymond, the dog who lives there. I'm very happy about that too because I never thought that we would actually have a dog living in any of the recovery houses, and you know, uh, Raymond does well out there as far as I know. So we also have the Washington County House, which is Williamsport, very close to Hagerstown, which is the Bauer House. Bauer House is only 4 to 6 men. And typically we're only going to have 4 there because, again, we want to do the single rooms wherever possible at this point. And then we've got our Tradition House, which is in Catonsville. Tradition House will normally only have 8 men in it. And we made that adjustment because we had more shared rooms. And eventually, I went back through the roles over the years, and we only really were averaging about 8 people because a lot of times we would prefer to keep a bed empty rather than have somebody who wasn't really a good fit for the house or put the house at risk. And it's very difficult to stabilize a house. It takes a long time to get the right group of men and keep that core group. As their lives get better and they may move, or for good and bad reasons, people move, and so there can be a lot of turnover. But with our community, we tend to have people stay a lot longer. There's no minimum stay, there's no maximum stay, and stable living is really the goal. So we're able to offer below market weekly program fees, which is something I'm very proud of. That's part of the reason why I want to put all of the houses into the nonprofit, is so that we're able to get some help with subsidies, with donations to keep those program fees low and continue doing fun activities. And for me not to go broke, because we've been doing it for years this way, even outside of the nonprofit, but most of it has just been me trying to give most of my income to the houses to do fun things. And you'll see, on these slides, there's lots of pictures of big groups of us. We go to Hershey Park and, going on river tubing and, things that cost money. And now with the nonprofit, we're able to get donations to help us out, keep those program fees low, and do fun things together. We believe in 12-step recovery. We believe in building strong, supportive community together. And community means not just living together, but really living together. So 4 years later, we've proven that we can make a difference in our communities. A lot of times our neighbors who have been nervous about us moving in end up being our biggest supporters once they realize, that we're not the neighbors that you should be scared of. We're the neighbors that clean up after ourselves, and we might have parties, but they're over by midnight and we're quiet and nobody drinks, So long term, I think it's important to hit this part of this so that I can explain that the houses that we have now are not the end goal. Gratitude Foundation was not formed to do recovery housing. Gratitude Foundation was always, the dream was always to have a free rehab. So in 2014, it was still very newly clean. It was about 10 years ago. And I would get up out of bed every morning before the sun would come up, because I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of racing thoughts. And the only way that I found that I could combat them would be by getting up before those thoughts could take me over and tell me I shouldn't get out of bed. And I would get up and I would go for a walk around the neighborhood. Sometimes that walk would turn into a jog or a run. But it was on one of those that I got a download. And that's the best way I can describe it, because it was more than just my thoughts. It was something that felt profound to me, where I had a vision of opening a free rehab, something that was different than the traditional, sit down, get medicated, shut up. You're on blackout, you can't go outside. Something different where you're able to get into a communal living environment that's centered around 12-step recovery, and learning about the disease of addiction, but at no cost except for your participation. So we would learn to grow food. We would learn to be self-supporting. We would learn that that foundation of gratitude is built one day at a time by staying clean one day at a time and by actually putting in effort and reaping the rewards of that. That builds gratitude. So that structure is kind of the idea of what we've been pushing towards this whole time. And the houses are part of building that community and building that support and showing concretely what we can do and what we will do in reality. And so the long term goal is to actually buy a summer camp or buy maybe some kind of land in the woods that has a lake. I always envision it with a lake that we can get a big slip and slide into, and a couple of cabins, and land that we can farm from. And it's interesting that I've met so many people along the way that have similar goals and similar ideas. The support is there. I think the money is going to be there as well. That's obviously part of what we're looking for is bigger supporters and backers that see that same vision. There are successful recovery farms that have existed for a long time. They even talk about it in the AA Big Book and the traditions. They talk about how AA tried to do the sober farms, and they decided that that wasn't for AA, right? That isn't the job of AA. Not that they're bad, just that AA needed to be singular in its focus. And that's something that I really believe in, that it's going to be beneficial. We'll probably have animals there as well that everybody will help learn about and take care of. So the idea is to put down the past, pick up new tools, maybe a little less cell phone use, right? A little less screen time, a little more meditation, but also that this could be a destination for other maybe conventions or other people to come and visit with our newcomers. So people with long-term clean time could come and camp and hike and spend time with us and help teach skills that they know about, right, rope tying and water purification, and spend time with our guys. And when you get people around a campfire and things get a little bit more normal and slowed down from the craziness of life, you're able to get back to who you really are and dig a little bit deeper into that self-exploration. So in some ways it's a big kid camp for stop using drugs and to find a new foundation, a new footing. So the way I look at it is like, imagine a rehab where you can get away from the world, learn to grow your own food as part of a community. You can act differently to feel differently. So farm to table, meditation to mindfulness, it's going to take place, and hopefully we can get there sooner rather than later with some extra help. So if you are interested, we do need your help. These are the different areas that I see that it would be great to have subcommittees for. So right now, a lot of this work falls just on me. And I've got really great house managers that do a lot to help us. I've got a really great board to help us. Petros does a lot of recruitment. He does a lot of fundraising. He does a lot of placement. He has a great name in the community. But I could really use a lot of help in these different areas. So keep an ear out. And if this is something you'd like to learn more about, just text me later. I'm going to put that up at the end as well. And these are just some of the ways that I need help. So website review and suggestions. What I'm looking for is 2 or 3 people in each one of these categories to meet with me, maybe just once a month, maybe twice a month, depending on, us getting into it initially, but to help me review all of our website. And maybe that means, kicking around some ideas about landing pages or how we can better lay out the website. Right now we've got a pretty basic website, and the fundraising on those sites is not really set up right. I put in some extra time on page 1, so page 1 looks pretty good, but I'm not great at spelling. I'm dyslexic, and long story short, I could use a lot of help with website review and suggestions, and that would basically just look like, writing some emails to make suggestions on how it should look, and getting together maybe 2 hours a month to make things better over time. The next one is outreach and mailings. So it blows my mind that, we've gotten donations over the years. We've been really blessed with a few families that have mentioned us at different times, and we've done really great fundraising. I have names and phone numbers and mailing addresses. I've sent out tons of 501c3 donation letters. I've never reached back out to anybody ever. Actually, I sent some invites to this event. I sent some emails out, but I've never asked for anything ever again. And that's not really how nonprofits operate. They regularly reach out. So I'd like help with someone who would like to either put together envelopes with addresses on them, that would like to help me write a letter or an outreach, and maybe even somebody who would be interested in putting together email outreach. So like maybe an ongoing newsletter. Obviously, I'm doing the Gratitude Speaks podcast now once a month, and that would be great content to be able to snip and send in an email. It's not that much work to do that. And, I would be able to give direction and work with that. Even just, having the accountability on me and a time set aside for me to work on those things would be really great. So if you're interested in outreach or mailings, if that's a skill you want to put on a resume later on, and I can, give you a recommendation for that later on, who knows where that's going to take us, but I would appreciate that. I should mention too, this is not just for outsiders. Any of you guys that are in our housing currently that are interested in doing more and volunteering more, this is absolutely you too. I'm talking to everybody who's here and who's willing to listen. Anybody who's willing to volunteer, I'll take as little or as much as time as you're willing to give, because I do need help. I really do. The next part is social media. So I'm not great at social media. Usually I just shoot stuff out, whatever's happening. I try to take pictures. And I'd really like to build our following. There again, the Gratitude Speaks. I'd like to be doing so much more with that. But in order to really package it and share it, I need help. I need help with the editing. And I'd like for somebody to just be that point person, right? Hey, everybody's going to send photos when we do something to so-and-so. They'll either blur out faces if they need to, or if everybody's, already signed a waiver for marketing, then, we can put stuff up on the website, and we could just do more with those things that I just simply don't have time to do. And I would love to do more with. People love seeing, what we do on social media. All our events are very exciting, but, a lot of times there's big events that happen and none of it gets shared. So please keep that in mind. I know a lot of you younger people are very good at social media. And also I should mention too, we're actually on pretty much every site. We're on, Gratitude Foundation is on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We get typically around 700 views per video on TikTok really regularly, a couple times a month. I've programmed, each episode for Gratitude Speaks, and it gets chopped up and shot out. So we do have a good following on social media. This is not saying that it needs to be started. It really just needs to be cultivated a little bit better. Regular events. So regular events, I should explain, is something that I feel like Amber had a lot to do with. Amber and Joey early on. Special events is something that Narcotics Anonymous does. So when they have outings and things like that, they call them special events. And we always would joke that our events were better and that ours aren't even special. They're regular events. So, we've been doing a lot of regular events for a few years now. And I have to say that for me, I get to see a lot of people, the lights turn back on. Like, I can have fun in recovery, right? Like, there's so much more to life than I realized, or I forgot how good life is without drugs, that I can laugh like I've never laughed. I can go and do things. I can remember it all. I don't have to lose all my stuff. The hiking trips, the camping trips, the go-karting events, we've done so much, the river tubing, the whitewater rafting. So what I'm looking for is two parts to the regular events: a planning team, which would help me make the plans for what we want to do and then lay it out on a calendar and maybe handle some of the logistics. So for example, last year I planned a camping trip for 59 people. I prepared all the tents, the sleeping bags, the sleeping pads, all the food. I did the flyers for those things. I sent them out. I got everything together. We only ended up having, I think, 29 people because of the rain, but we held a great camping trip in the rain, and it was a blast. So if I can do that all by myself while still working more than one job and, running everything else, a little bit of help would go a long way. And truly, I think we could do more events and have maybe even some more of the synergy between Gratitude Foundation and Summit, where we can bring more of their guys in too. So having that event planning would be just that, just planning. And then the impact team would be the other half of that. So the impact team, if you're interested in the impact team, I think it will basically look like this. What event can you go to and commit to helping out with? And that might be setting up and breaking down, but it very likely will just be talking to our guys. Like if you have recovery experience and you're there having fun with us and you have a conversation with somebody, that one-on-one can be part of what makes all the difference for that person. So that's what I'm looking for with the impact team. Just say you want to come with us. Gratitude Foundation is probably going to provide your ticket for, whatever event we have, and just enjoy that with us. So if you're willing to sign up for anything, definitely sign up for the impact team, if not some other things as well. And then community outreach and partnership. So what I'm looking for with community outreach and partnership, we've made a couple of connections with other nonprofits. So for example, Art with a Heart, I forget the name of the suit place, but there's a place that does suits for people free of charge. And, we want to be able to cultivate some more of these relationships. Actually, Planet Fitness as well. We've gotten a relationship with Planet Fitness. I tried with Chick-fil-A for a long time, only to find out Chick-fil-A really likes to do schools. They want to do fundraising for schools, not for guys in recovery, but that's fine. But I know there's more resources out there. I know that there's more nonprofits that we could ultimately synergize with, to have more collaboration with. And I need somebody to make those phone calls and be interested in, helping us find those things and make those things happen. And then lastly is the delayed gratitude monthly donation. So, what I want to push for is our next, what do they call it? Giving Tuesday. So Giving Tuesday is a yearly thing that almost all nonprofits do. I've never done a Giving Tuesday. My goal is to have signups for either $5 or $10 monthly. Now, we've had a lot of people that have come on our trips before. What I told people last year or this year was, don't give me any extra money. Just sign up for $5 or $10 a month. And that way you can you can pledge $10 a month or $5 a month. And, if you do that at the end of the year at $5 a month, I mean, that's, $60 or whatever. So, I'm not looking for anything crazy, but to have that commitment makes a big difference. To know that we have that extra income means that I can keep our program fees low. And even just the processing fees have gone astronomical. The cost to heat and cool the houses has almost doubled. The taxes aren't going down on these properties. It's hard to explain all the little ways that, since COVID, things have gotten more expensive, and I've not raised fees. I've actually lowered our program fees during those times. I've just taken less from the houses, and I'm proud of that. I want to be able to sustain that into the future. And I know that there's, a ton of people that are in our network or even alumni that could sign up and then say to someone else, hey, I'm giving $5 a month. Would you be willing to give $5 a month? Here's the link to it, and share that on their social media and help us promote, and really, helping spread the word for Gratitude Speaks as well, our monthly podcast. I was trying to do it every week, but I just realistically don't have time to do it every week. So once a month, though, we're going to be talking with people that have successfully completed our program, to people that have other communal living experience, other providers. What I really want to do is a roundtable meeting too, with maybe a couple guys around a fire, where we can all discuss recovery living topics. So if you haven't gotten a chance, definitely check out Gratitude Speaks. It's on gratitudespeaks.org. It's also on the front page of gratitudefoundation.com. And you can really find Gratitude Speaks at any podcast location. Some of the episodes are on YouTube, but if you're on Apple Podcasts, or you should be able to find Gratitude Speaks. It gets published everywhere. So if you are interested in at least learning more about what the subcommittee would look like, please text me. Let me know you're open to it. I'm going to be putting up dates on my calendar so that we can start these subcommittees. The way I think about it, and this is how I used to run my real estate team, if there's one person at a meeting, that's 1 hour's worth of work. If you've got 4 people all at one meeting, that's 4 hours worth of work. So I'm looking at 3 people per subcommittee doing maybe 2 hours a month, right? That's 6 hours a month more work that's getting done towards Gratitude Foundation. It doesn't have to break anybody's back. I really just looking for a little bit of help to move us forward. And, ultimately it's to get us to our bigger goal. I'm going to turn over in just a little while to Bill to give some shout outs. Really want to send some love to our alumni. We've got some really great guys that have come through our program, guys that are living lives beyond their wildest dreams, and I want to give some more shout out to them. So in conclusion, we've been blessed to serve over 100 men since the start of Gratitude Foundation. I need you to be a part of what we're building. So let's build a strong foundation together. Thank you. And because you waited, I've got a shirt to show you. All our guys are going to be getting this shirt this year for 2025's Christmas present. And if you're interested in getting a shirt, you can make a donation and receive it. Check that out. Let's make it a great day on purpose. And we love our swag. Here's one of our older Gratitude Feel Deal Heal hoodies. We love our swag. Wearing them proudly. Also, we've got events that come up regularly, including the Ecstatic Gratitude, the Ecstatic Dance. Make sure you check out our social media. Gratitude Foundation on Facebook is where we typically will post what's coming up next. So thank you so much for being here. The end.